There are a few people want you to talk about your warthog experience.
Yeah, why? What's the matter with you?
Or not.
All right, I will. I try to be polite. Okay, I'm grateful to be an honored guest in a lot of cultures different than my own, and I do my very, very best to appear grateful and grateful for the experience, even when I'm not particularly enjoying the food. I call it the grandma strategy. May not like grandma's turkey, but I will say thanks, grandma, and I'll have some more. In this case, I found myself in a remote part of the Kalahari Desert with a tribe of Bushmen who, they're not hunters. I mean, pardon me, they're not, they don't grow anything. They're hunter-gatherers. And when they're lucky, every once in a great while, they are, with extremely primitive bows and arrows, able to take down an animal like a warthog, which they then butcher and cook. And water is something at a premium in the Kalahari. So proper food handling and cleaning is something that you don't see a lot of. Which is to say, I found myself sitting there with the chief in front of his tribe. And remember, their entire social hierarchy is based on he who brings meat and she who distributes meat. Which is to say, I could not refuse what was about to be offered, which was a roughly hacked open and chopped up warthog, its interior, including its reflux and excrement, scooped out by hand and deposited next to me, thrown into the sand and cooked in the fur. And as honored guest, I was offered the last foot of unwashed, undercooked poop shoot. My beliefs about hospitality were tested that day, my friends. For there was fur, sand, and crap in every bite. And if you look closely at the finished episode, you can see I look like, this plaintive look in my eyes. I'm looking past the camera at Chris, my executive producer, just saying, please, God, have I been polite enough? 2 weeks on antibiotics, by the way, and I was good as gold. And I find it really disturbing that you really wanted to know more about that, but.
What are your thoughts on sustainability and the slow food movement, which of course is very big here in the Bay Area? And do you think these trends will affect how food is produced in the world?
That's a great two-part question, because first of all, I think the whole sustainable movement and slow food movement are really important. I think they're it's enormously valued. Anything, like in a garden, anything that improves expectations and the dining public awareness of food, what makes food good, is a good thing. It is wonderful that we have these options as fairly affluent people to buy organically produced or carefully produced or sustainably produced artisanal foods. But I think that the whole world will ever, go this path? We can't. You need the guy from Slow Food. He was right about the very, the market. It's a lot of wealthy white people there. Okay, mm-hmm. Let's not kid ourselves. The idea of doing without fertilizer for somebody who's struggling to crank out as many crops as possible in Southeast Asia or in the Amazon, hey, pretty to think so. I like Whole Foods just fine. I don't like paying $1 for a lemon, but I'm glad I can. Okay, and most of the time that expensive, organically produced, sustainable lemon tastes better than the other kind, but not always. A greenhouse tomato can indeed taste better than an heirloom. And my personal opinion is, as a chef, I don't see myself, other chefs feel very differently, and other chefs who I respect and I'm very glad are around, like Dan Barber, who's really championed this sustainable and regional. I don't care if my tomato causes the occasional tumor in lab rats. I just want it the best ham tomato there is. I am not your dietitian or your ethicist. As a chef, I was in the pleasure business. I was there to give you the best, tastiest, most enjoyable meal I can, and my only other responsibility is to maybe increase the likelihood you're going to get laid after dinner. Beyond that, you're on your own. All right? I'm glad they're there. They're good for the world. I support them. Their interests dovetail with mine a lot. But if you're telling me that there's only one tuna still out in the ocean and one big hunk of fat belly meat, some nice otoro off the last bluefin, I'd like to get in on that one. Okay.
Somebody wants some dirt from Top Chef. Do you have
Dirt
any?
from Top Chef.
Yeah.
Sure. Come on. Hung totally deserved to win. Come on, right?
Yeah.
He did. Okay, here's some dirt from Top Chef. The judging is totally honest, okay? It is so not bent. It really angers me when I read on the web, they only kept Casey around because she's blonde and looks good, or, the whole judging process is rigged because it'll be more dramatic later on. I would love to see someone actually try to tell Tom Colicchio to change his opinion of someone's cooking because it'll make a better story later. In fact, one of the joys, I'm a total fanboy, and one of the joys of going on that show is, first, it's like, you have to understand, it's like we argue over who wins and who loses for like 3 hours. You only see a few minutes of judging table. But what is fun to see is when the producers' faces when Tom sends home like, someone who the audience loves, it's like, oh, not Trey, oh no, oh. Our ratings just took a serious dive here, or, oh, not CJ, man, he had testicular cancer, dude, it was a great, it was a great human drama. There are certain characters that reality show producers, of course, want to see last a lot of episodes, but they do not dare even whisper that. They just suffer silently, if somewhat visibly. And I enjoy that. Listen, the worst food that week gets you sent home on Top Chef. The best food, you win. And the best chef won last season.